Hey guys, Mark from the Evolved Human here, and it's a nice day outside, so let's switch the scenery up a little bit. We're gonna be heading down to the beach. Let's do it. Alright guys, so we just finished cycling down to the beach. This is probably one of my favorite spots in here. I just grabbed a little bit of shade because I think the lighting will be a little bit too harsh, but I'll give you guys a little glimpse of the beautiful scenery down here. So here you go.
What up, y'all? Yeah, soundtrack, what's poppin', baby? Y'all ain't know, I go by the name of Lupe Fiasco, representing that first and 15. Yeah, and this one right here, I dedicate this one right here to all my homies out there grinding. You know what I'm saying? Legally and illegally. You know what I'm talking about? So, check it out.
Alrighty, so for today's video, we're going to be discussing the mammalian battery. This is one that not too many people know about. Been taking it after reading this book right here called The Body Electric. It's by Robert Becker, Dr. Robert Becker, I suppose. And I'll leave a description to kind of his life's work and what he's done in the video description below. It's pretty amazing what this guy discovered actually back in like the 60s and 70s, and not a lot of people are aware about it, nevertheless actually implementing what he was implying about 50 years ago. Yeah, so essentially what Dr. Robert Becker discovered in very short layman's terms is he found that there was a DC electric current in all living organisms, and this is an actual electric charge that does have positive and negative poles depending on what it is particularly you're looking at. And he was particularly looking at the regenerative properties of the DC electric current because he was a orthopedic surgeon, and he was trying to see if there was any way out of, I guess, extracting bone marrow or going in very invasively with a scalpel and I guess conducting surgery, if there was more of a naturopathic way of going about this, if there were any properties around us that we could utilize, and when utilized properly actually promoted healing. Now what he found in terms of the DC current itself is he actually found regenerative properties in our bone tissue, and to much of his surprise he actually found it in a lot other areas as well. At one point in the book he was actually stating that he even found a natural anesthetic that could be used where he was working on salamanders, I believe, in this particular experiment, and he was actually reversing the polarity in their brain, and they were actually falling asleep almost instantaneously. And then as soon as he changed the polarity back to the way that it was when it was conscious, they would actually wake up almost immediately with no side effects of the anesthetic itself. He then goes on later to say how a lot of this can actually tie into some mental conditions as well, some psychiatric diagnosis. I highly suggest actually just reading the book. I'm not even close to doing it justice. It is a very fascinating read. He kind of breaks down all the research in terms of where he came from to where the research is in the present day. Keep in mind that this book was written a little while back, so it is a little bit out of date, but still very, very fascinating. All right, so what does this mean for us? We actually have a DC electric current within us, like I just mentioned, but how do we go about actually maximizing this electrical potential within us? It's actually very easy. As I mentioned in the video prior to this in terms of improving your sleep, it's more or less just getting outside, exposing your body, much like I am doing right now, as you can see. Exposing your body to the sun, and more importantly than anything, you want to be grounding your feet without any sort of rubber soles or anything to the ground. Now this is something that I do personally every morning, as well as when I do my sun gazing first thing, to make sure that I'm getting my UVB, or UVA rather, light rays into my retina, as well as anytime I'm out, I'm going to be trying to ground myself as much as I can, because this actually connects us to the magnetic flux of the Earth that is given off, and actually begins to change the polarity and the way in which our DC electric current is optimized on a cellular level. A really good example of this is actually what is right behind me right now. Trees are actually really good examples of something that is constantly grounded and is constantly going through photosynthesis from the sun. And that's why it actually requires no food, because it's constantly grounded to the Earth's magnetic field, and it receives all its food essentially via sunlight through photosynthesis, and then that actually gets rooted down and is actually shared amongst other trees, which is pretty cool. Now for us, we aren't constantly grounded, and we don't always have canopies up towards the sun, because we find ourselves inside a lot of the time. So how can we go about increasing this current within us? Easiest way, like I just showed you, planting your feet, getting the proper sun exposure, as well as implementing a lot of DHA into your diet as well. If you guys aren't familiar with what DHA is, I will leave a link down below for that as well, for you guys to do your own research on. Essentially, you get it from seafood, and it's extremely important for brain health and brain function in general. Probably one of the most important supplements that you can start to incorporate into your diet, as it is going to be one of the primary foods that starts to actually ramp up your DC electric current. Alright, so I know that I tend to ramble on, so the takeaway from this video, in short, is you need to be getting outside more, grounding yourself to the earth, to make sure that the direction of the polarity of your current within your body, including your bones, cells, muscle tissue, is working accordingly. And how you do that, like I said, getting outside, sun exposure, grounding your feet to the earth, and eating the adequate amount of DHA. Anyways guys, I hope you found this video useful. Start implementing these techniques. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'd be very curious. I know it's something that a lot of people don't even think about or even know exists. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you did find this video helpful, don't be afraid to leave me a thumbs up. And if you want more videos like this, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button, as that does help the community continue to grow. Until next time guys, make sure to prioritize and then optimize. See you later. Peace.